Hi, this is Cyderbaby Pod, and today I am back with Nakedium. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
We've got two of you today. Introduce yourselves. Man with the cat. You can go first.
Okay, so I'm Mark from Nakedium. I'm a singer.
And I'm Howard, I'm guitarist, and any other jobs needed?
General dog's body.
Yeah, always.
We spoke to you a couple of weeks ago about your first single in a long time, and we're having a little catch up again today because you've got another single out now. Tell me about it.
So we wanted to do sort of get put singles out sort of every couple of months, and see try and just get the sort of fan base that we used to have on MySpace and migrate them sort of back. And so the new single, "Why Do You Hate Me?" That's sort of the latest one. Which it was funny because you said last time we saw you before Christmas, it was like, "No, we've got a heavier one." I said, "Well, the next one might be a little bit heavier."
It
So
certainly is.
yeah, so it's really just about people who don't are not tolerant of others. Your internet haters, your racists, and all the rest of it. And it basically calls them out and asks the question: Is it everybody else that's the problem, or is it you?
Yeah.
Is it because you're lonely, but you're trying to get attention? It's a bit sort of thing. It's such a broad subject matter, and it brought out so many different things. There were so many things I wanted to say in that song, but and when I first did my first draft of it, it was really like it was really quite basic, and I had to make everything I wanted to say and put it into a song metaphors to make it roll and make it into a proper rock and roll song. So I get a shout in it, Dave. I get a shout in it.
I
Well, I
have
remember
noticed.
when we first did it, it was like we were up in like E standard tuning. We were playing the same riff, exactly the same sound, but just higher. And Mark was just like, "That's not angry enough. Tune it down." Went down into drop D, down a tone, and then we did it again, same riff, but down a bit lower. Still not enough. And before we know it, we were down another rehearsal down the line. I've come in with a 7-string, so we're now down a string lower, and we're starting to go, this is new territory for us. Mark's at the bottom, baritone end of his register, and it's just got that angrier feel.
Yeah. You've been let loose with the guitars, really, haven't you?
No, exactly. It's just it's always nice to be put on the spot and just play it in a different key, and you're there like.
I have a habit of making the lads have to do silly things like, they come in with some amazing riff, and I'll go, "It's in the wrong key." And on the spot, they then just have to transpose it all and then play it. And they just do every time. It's really easy for me as a songwriter and a singer to be able to do that they can just do that on the spot. But so him and Sam were literally, okay, so that's on there. Okay, let's go. Let's do it again.
So this came out last Saturday, I believe, didn't it?
Yeah, on the 4th of February.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I'm assuming it's available on the socials and all the streaming sites and the YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's always funny. We get asked a lot. "Oh, I'm not on Spotify," and we go, "Well, it's on everything else as well, but you've got to pick one." And our sort of platform choice is Spotify to push. But yeah, it's across iTunes, Amazon, all the rest of them.
Or heard daily on my breakfast show. Because I've played it 5 times this week. Yeah, it's grown on me over the week. I was going to say, this is different on Monday. The second day, it was like, yeah, it's different, but it's good. The third day, I'm sort of like thinking, yeah, it's really good. And it's just gone on from there. It's just really grown on me. So I'm really enjoying it. So are we going deeper and darker for the next single?
Splitting the difference, I think, would be good. Good way to describe the different. It's next one's back up in standard tuning, but it's still a full-on rock track, and it's got the hardest bass line I wrote for Sam this time. And he's like, "You bastard."
It's all right. They've got 2 less strings to worry about. So
exactly.
Yeah. I'm not getting into that. My son's a bassist, so he's not here at the moment. So what else is happening in the camp? Anything new? Anything to report?
Yeah, it's difficult because with this with Nakedium we really wanted to I suppose we had so many songs. It was a case of which ones do we kind of work on, which ones do we record first. So we've kind of gone for ones that are a lot more different. So with the track we've just released, "Why Do You Hate Me?" It's you know, it's more I wouldn't say it was a massively heavy song. It's just a song. It's an angry song because it's got something to say. It's asking the question, you know, why would somebody hate me? You know, is it because I'm not tall enough? Is I'm not good looking enough? I'm a wrong color? You know, have I got the wrong job? You know, whatever. Some people just hate others because of they're different.
Yeah.
So so that was that one. But then then the next song we want to put out is a song called "Powerless," and that goes on about lots of other different sort of social aspects, but also touches on. I was really touched by a film. Do you remember when those kids got trapped in a cave?
Yes.
And they couldn't be rescued.
Yeah.
Well, that song is we were in touch with a guy who actually did the rescuing.
Right.
And he was telling us about the harrowing, you know, the whole thing, the whole human emotions, and that really touched me. And the way that you can, it's not just in that situation that they had, you know, the people now in the Ukraine war and all the rest of it. So it really just goes for all the people's emotions. So that again, you know, I wouldn't say it was a really, you know, it's not Metallica's an Anthrax song. It's not a you know, one of the early Avenged Sevenfold tracks. You know, I'm not going to go out and go, oh, right, all of a sudden, right? I love that stuff, but that's not what we do. But it is, again, it's a track, it's a passionate track, because those lyrics have to come out, and they have, you know, without those lyrics, without the meaning, the Powerless wouldn't be the track. But for musically, it's really good fun especially for the bass, and because they're having to follow quite a quick rhythm, which is it's quite difficult to play. But Sam's just an amazing player, so he just had no, obviously it was effortless. Every in the studio, he's doing it. Oh yeah, is that first take? Yep. Do you want to do it again? No, that's all right. It was mad when it happened. And you did the same, to be fair.
Well, I'm always, but my issue always comes with just adding so many layers and then having to strip them all back. Sam, he's the master of just going in, and he knows what he's there for, and he just lays it down, and it's always shit hot.
Yeah. Going back to the single, I mean, how difficult was it to get your feelings across in the first place in the lyrics?
It was difficult. I did like a first take of it. And I do this like process where I when we've got all the parts, so sometimes a song will just come to me. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and literally I sing the whole song in a dictaphone. I don't know where it's come from. It just happens. With this one, I knew that I had the chorus and I had like some other pieces, but I didn't have all the verses. I knew what I wanted to say. I had a couple of lines, and then I did. When everyone put the instrumentation down, I still hadn't finished the lyrics. So I'd done a rough vocal, but it still wasn't very good. And I remember Howard going, "The words aren't as good as what you're usually up to." And I said, "I haven't finished them yet. I haven't finished them. Wait." But it was, in the end, it just all flowed, and it worked great. But it's funny because you don't want to use the word racist. You know, you have to find a metaphor for it. You don't want to use the word foreign for someone being foreign. So I said, is it because I'm far from home? Is it because I'm all alone? You know, and so that gives the whole story about someone who might be working in a different country, for example. And it's, you know, it's just finding ways. But in the end, it was a nice process, and I was really pleased with some of the one-liners that came out. the line, I can't even think of the words of my own song now. But it was just, you know, is it my existence is so hysterical. You know, it's a really, really good fun line, a really nice throwaway line you can give to someone, you know, as an insult when you don't want to start.
I mean, it's always interesting for me in the in the writing process. So when we're in the rehearsal room scenario of, you know, Mark comes in, you know, sometimes with chords, sometimes the lyrics, and you're putting a song together on the spot. I've never worked with a singer that can do a draft vocal sort of on the spot. So yeah, like Mark's saying, the lyrics first take isn't final take, but all the feel, all the energy of the track, it rarely deviates from that first sort of, you know, 3-hour session where, you know, all the music's gone down. We generally find ourselves overcomplicating things in the weeks following, and coming completely full circle back to where we started, because that had the most natural energy. And like Mark says, you polish up the lyrics and you're just there.
Yeah, that's what rock and roll's all about, though, isn't it?
Trust yourself.
It's been a very apt song for myself and my colleagues this past week, as you can probably guess. We won't go into that, but I shall be playing it a little bit more over the next couple of weeks, I expect, and hope to hear something new from you very soon. Again, thank you, guys.
Well, you know, we just want Nakedium. We're just going to keep doing some more songs, so just keep an eye out on the Nakedium channel. And if you get the chance and you're listening to this, obviously see Dave's breakfast show all the time, and do the old like for us so we can tell you directly what's going on our social media.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for the shout out. That is appreciated. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.